Hello.
Hello, is this Matt?
Yes, it is.
Matt Noveskey!
What up, brother?
What's going on?
Just hanging home for a few days. I just wish that I would get applause like that every time I answer the phone.
Well, call us more.
Right, yeah.
There you go.
We're going to have to chat all the time then, Matt. Now, Matt Noveskey right here, everybody. He is the bass player for that band that we just got done listening to, Blue October. Matt, you are from Northern Michigan here, and now you are living the superstar dream, made it through all the bullshit of life. And you're doing it, man. How has things been for you? I know you got the Orb Studio that's going on down there in Texas, right?
Yeah. Things are. Honestly, man, I can't complain. Things are fantastic. Yeah, I grew up in Traverse City, and I lived all over Michigan, but I most of my years were in Traverse City. My formative years, as I like to call them.
Right.
My party years, I should say.
Right.
And then I made it down to Austin in the end of 97, 98, and I've been living here ever since. But yeah, man, honestly I can't complain. Things are good. Things are great.
That is great. And tell me about Reese. Talk to me. You know your cousin, right? Reese Pearson. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of Reese.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt? How are you, buddy?
Hey, buddy. How are you, man?
Life's good. No complaints, man. Hey, by the way, thank you so much. My son still won't stop talking about last time he was at one of your shows. Like, he had an absolute blast, and
my pleasure, man.
Yeah, so
my pleasure.
Good times.
Yeah, I'm glad he got to come. It really freaked me out though because I had a flashback when I saw him.
Oh yeah,
it was
little
really
mini
strange, man. Yeah. There's no denying that's your kid. That's for sure.
Can't deny him.
You haven't seen Reese in a while. He's got a gray beard now. You gotta. Hopefully, the kid doesn't have a gray beard, does he?
No.
Flashback. Man.
Right. Flashback.
Flashback. Yeah, I'm getting some gray in my beard as well. Actually, you remind me I need to shave. It's not looking so good.
Now tell me, how did you get hooked up with Blue October? How did that all start for you, man?
Yeah, so I actually, I played in a few different bands when I was in Michigan, and the first band that was, I would say, was mostly originals that was actually really I felt like we were onto something, was a band I was in called Switch.
Okay.
And it was some of my best friends, and then it was just one of those situations where after a while, some of us moved to Ann Arbor because we were like, look, we're in Traverse City, and at that time, this is pre-internet, right? So it's I'm tired of having to drive 4 hours to play a meaningful gig, and not that there weren't good shows in Traverse City and Petoskey and everything, but you'd be part of the scene. You got to get closer down to a bigger city.
Right.
So a couple of us moved to Ann Arbor, and then a couple of us wound up just kind of lagging behind. And so the band sort of floundered and wasn't really doing anything. And I just happened to meet, that same band opened for a band at the time that was on Universal Records, and I met their manager. And he and I stayed in touch, and then I really just got this sort of random phone call out of the blue one day, and it was it's like that whole thing where you break up with your girlfriend, you're like, what am I doing here? My band's not, what's going on with my band? It's kind of in a really gray area in my life. And I get this phone call, and it couldn't have come at a more ironic time, honestly. And it was this guy, and his name is Mike Rand, and he had this booking agency in Ann Arbor, and he said, I got a band in Austin, out of Houston, Texas. They live in Austin now. And you gotta see this. You gotta hear them. You're gonna be blown away by this. And and I heard that a million times, and I was like, yeah, sure, I will.
Right.
Whatever. It's a free CD. Sure, give it to me. And so I got a copy of their first record, and it really resonated with me. It was a little bit more of the instrumentation seemed a little more southern than what I was used to. The band I was in was more hip hop and heavy rock, and it had violin, and it was very kind of brought back a lot of the Smiths and the Cure and some bands like
nice.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. And but the lyrics are what really grabbed me, and so I was like, what do I got to lose, man? I'll go check them out. And so I flew down with him not even 2 weeks later. And when I saw the band, that's when it really hit me. It was one of those moments where it sounds a little cliche, it sounds a little corny, but I just knew.
Yeah.
You know, I knew, I was like, this band is, something's going to happen, and I can either say screw it and pack up all my stuff and break my lease and get out of Michigan and go down here and join, or I can regret it for the rest of my life.
Right.
You know, and hopefully do something else. And so I said, you know what? Why not? I'm going to take a chance, and I'll just see what happens. And I moved down, and man, not even 6 months later, we're signing our first record deal. And
wow, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a great point right there. That there's a lot of musicians out there that want to make that change. You know, they want to decide, am I going to break the lease, and am I just going to take this leap and hope that it works the way that it works? And you know, I mean, what was it that really made you say that, like, this is what I'm going to do? You know, like, was there like a pivotal moment that you were just like, I'm doing it. Fuck it. I'm going after this.
Yeah.
You know, like, what was it?
There was, and I would say there were actually two moments. And one was the night of the show when I saw the band, and look, the band was still young, and the band was a little green overall. You know, like there was some cool stuff they were doing, and there was definitely, like, I loved the violin aspect of it, and the instrumentation was cool. But Justin as a front man, even back then, like he's a 1 in a million front man now. You know, and back then, even back then, he just had it. He had that gift, and I was like, holy shit. Like, this is that this is that thing, you know, this is that intangible thing that you look for when you look for a quote unquote star. Like, this is that's it right
star
there,
quality.
right in front of me. And then the next day I got together and jammed with him just for like a couple hours just to see what the vibe was like. And there was this moment, I'll never forget it. It was like, I kind of had my eyes closed, and I was playing this song, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling this. And I opened my eyes, and I looked over at Jeremy, the drummer, and he was just smiling ear to ear. And I was like, yeah. You know, like, okay, the chemistry's there. This is working, you know.
That is
and
cool.
It was like, yeah, it was quick. It was no like, well, let's feel it out and see how it goes. It was like, yeah, man, we felt like kindred spirits. We got along. You know, we played well together, and that's rare.
That is. And to get those chills type of a moment, you know, where you're just like, oh my gosh, you know, like I love this. This is my life from here on, you know, like.
Yeah, totally.
And it had to have happened so fast for you too. Was that? I mean, take us through that. Like, was it just like overnight? Sure. You're just like, holy shit, this is real.
It did, yeah. It happened, and to be honest with you, you know, it's funny. I've never really talked about this aspect of it before, but there was an aspect of it where it was like, okay, I'm equally parts excited and terrified. You know, I'm like, I'm pumped about this new opportunity and this band and all these possibilities, and I know that there's some interest in the band, and that's nice because none of the bands I've ever been in have had that, like, you know, that going on.
Right.
So that's exciting to me. But at the same time, now I got to go home and I got to face the music. And I've got to tell my on again, off and again girlfriend that it's over for real. Moving to Texas. And yeah, which that wasn't fun. And not only that, I got to tell my parents, you know, which you know, I'm the youngest of like 50 kids, so they're like, whatever, do whatever. But my and Reese knows.
Oh yeah.
You know, but the other aspect of it was, and this is very true, and this was really hard for me, was some of the guys in my band that was kind of like, again, sort of on again, off again, but kind of off again at that time. Not everybody had thrown in the towel in that band, and I emotionally had pretty much given up on it. I was like, I got to find something, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But having to call those guys and be honest about it with some of my best friends in the world.
Damn.
Going, hey, you know what? I love you, and I love playing with you, and this is the best band I've ever been in. But I'm moving away.
Yeah.
It was really hard. It was really hard, and there was some anger, and there was some like, what are you talking about? Like, you're quitting, you're giving up, but the cool thing is I think that deep down inside everybody was on the same page about that. I feel like everybody was on the same page about, like, look, man, we've floundering. It's been months. We haven't managed to get any gigs. Like, nothing's happening. We're not writing. We're in different cities. But there was still that kind of like, man, you're throwing in the towel on something, and for me, you know, it was you know, it was like, just hang in there and please be my friend. You know, like, don't give up on my friendship. Don't be so angry with me that we don't love each other anymore. and I'm happy to say that to this day, I have nothing but love and support from those guys. I'm still really close with them.
That's
like,
cool.
That's good.
Really cool. Yeah, there was no, it wasn't like a, screw you, you're an asshole, and we never spoke again. Like, I'm still brothers with those guys,
That's
like,
awesome.
we love each other very much, and we still talk, and we still hang when we can, and like, I get random really funny texts from my buddy Dan all the time, who's down in Detroit now, and it's usually Lions related, of course, and and how our life is, but
Nice.
yeah, man. So then everything with the band, the band itself was a whirlwind for sure. All of a sudden it was like, I remember the first time I got paid for a gig, and I got $400, and I got and I went and got a check for $400, and this is in '98, and I'm used to being a bartender and
Like, I'm earning
making
a
no
living.
money playing gigs.
Yes.
And I went, wait a minute. I was like, so this is $400 pre what? Like, this is mine? Like, I get to, what am I getting paid for?
Right.
And that was pretty cool, So, yeah, and then it was all of a sudden I'm in a professional studio in Los Angeles recording with Nick Launay, who's one of my heroes, producer, and it was pretty surreal, man. It really was.
And now look at what you're doing with your own studio that you have opened up down there. You and who was it? CB? Was it CB that?
Yeah. CB, who he's not in the band anymore. He's been out for a couple years now.
Yeah.
But he and I, we're like bros. We're like brothers. We're more than friends, of course. And we've always been really tight. We're always really tight. We were in the band together. He and I really gravitated to each other as friends, and we hung out all the time. And he and I put this plan together a long time ago that we were going to open a studio, because I had started producing other bands. And I'd actually started producing bands up in Canton, Michigan at Pearl Sound Studios with Chuck Alcasey.
I've heard of that place, yeah.
So I'd go, when I was on break or whatever, I'd go up and Chuck and I would work together, and Chuck was kind of a mentor to me. He really taught me a lot. And I would go up there and I would produce other artists with him, and I was like, man, this is fun. Like, this is, I love making records. Making records is my favorite thing in the world to do. So CB saw that I was doing more and more of that, and CB had always wanted to open a studio. And so we put our heads together and came up with this plan, and it sort of evolved. It went from like, hey, let's kind of do this, like, see if it works couple year kind of plan, like flip a warehouse or something, to, no, man, let's do something that's never been done here. Let's build this absolutely, beautiful, gorgeous place on a big piece of land in the hill country, and, like, let's just do everything that everybody's telling us not to do.
Right.
And pray that it works. Let's throw a Hail Mary and pray that it works. And man, we did. And
it's
I'm really proud of it. Yeah.
You guys are like you're helping the indie music artists down there, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's cool, because what we did, a lot of studios are sort of like, they're either really high end, not accessible to indie bands, or they're kind of home studio, turned into a studio where you can get a really good rate, but you kind of have to doctor the drums to make them believable. And there's not a ton of stuff in between, as far as at least here in Austin these days. But what we did was we went, let's do the big, beautiful A room with every piece of gear you could possibly want. But let's also do a B room. So there's there's a lounge in the middle, and then there's a B room on one side and an A room on the other, and they're two completely separate studios. And it was the smartest thing we could have done, because the B room has allowed us to stay in touch with the community, to work with local bands, local artists, do a lot of writing, a lot of artist development, a lot of stuff that bigger studios aren't really interested in and don't really do.
Right.
So it's not that like we're out of touch or out of that we're not accessible for these younger artists or for these bands that are kind of just making we call them baby bands.
Right.
We are. But we kind of have the best of all worlds. So what I'll do a lot when I'm making a record is I'll go in the A room and just do what I need to get done. And then I'm like, okay, now let's go over to the B room and track everything else. Now that the drums are done, let's go into the B room and let's track everything else. And we'll save some money, and we can work longer days and longer sessions, and we can get our record done. So
nice.
It's a cool thing.
Awesome.
Now tell me, is it also true that Justin Bieber has been in your studio?
It's not only true, it happened our opening week.
Oh my God, dude, really?
Yeah, it was like literally, so we did a soft opening in January. I think it was 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 2014. We've been 5 years now. So that we did a soft opening, but it was really just kind of testing everything out, make sure it was going. And we did our grand opening during South by Southwest in March of that year.
Sweet.
And so it was like, okay, now our doors are open to the public. We're taking phone calls. We're taking emails. And that week, we hadn't even done our grand opening party yet. It was at the end of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
We start getting phone calls, and we get Justin Bieber and Lil Wayne and
Wow.
Fetty Wap.
Wow.
And Fetty Wap, who was like a B-room client at that point.
That's your boy,
You know,
isn't
like...
Oh, okay. I thought I was doing a dance buddies.
Yeah, it was all that week, and it was like, it kind of reminded me when I started bartending at the UNI Lounge in Traverse City, Michigan, where it was like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to learn how to bartend? Let's do it during Cherry Festival.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was the
Yeah.
same thing. It was like, well, I guess we're going to learn real quick if this is going to work or not.
Oh,
You know?
right,
So,
right.
and it works.
Man, I think
Wow.
it's so cool that how you have made it through everything there, Matt. I mean, to be now owning your own studio down there and giving back to the community. You know, I mean, that's just that's phenomenal work, dude.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
man.
You know what? I don't want to get off the phone with you at all, but we do have another guest that we have to talk with too. You know, I cannot believe I'm getting off the phone with Matt Noveskey.
You better make him drop the South of Straits thing. Dude.
Yes. You know what? Before we get off the phone with you, is there any chance that we can get you to say, hi, this is Matt Noveskey from Blue October, and you're listening to the South of the Straits show?
Absolutely. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
Okay. Hey, this is Matt Noveskey from Blue October, and you're listening to the South of the Straits show.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I nailed it on the first time, didn't I?
You nailed it. Yes, you nailed it
nailed
perfectly, dude. Well, we're gonna play one of you guys' newest songs, newest music videos that you have out there right now, Daylight, and then
Cool.
we're gonna be pushing everybody towards your channel. You know, we're trying to. That's one of the things that we do on our show up here is we like to help the other music artists. I mean, I don't know if Blue October needs that much help getting noticed anymore,
It's
but
always good
Hey,
for
we'll
more fans
take
the
all the
merrier.
help we can get.
Yes.
We'll take
right.
all the help we can get.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna push our listeners and our viewers over to you. And Matt, I can't wait until you come back up here to Traverse City so we can shoot the poop, man. Because I'd like to meet you. I'd like to hang out, get you in the
Yeah.
studio here. You know, you can come and you can check out our little hole in the wall studio here. It's pretty damn nice, actually.
Awesome, man. I'd love to. I want to get up there soon. For sure.
Dude, can't wait.
All right,
man.
all right. Yeah,
Reese,
Cherry
Reese,
Festival's right around the corner. Reese, do you have
Say
anything
goodbye
to
to
say?
your cuzzo?
Yeah, it's your
Yeah,
cuz.
great talking to you, Matt. Thanks for coming on this show, man. Appreciate it
Yeah,
a lot,
dude,
dude.
thank
And
you.
Hopefully,
Oh, brother, thank you.
hopefully see you soon. The lounge at your studio sounds like a good fit for me. That's probably where I
Oh,
spend
yeah.
most of my time. But
Hey, man, that's where I spend most of my time.
Right on.
come down there and check it out.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'd love to, man. Good to talk to you, buddy. Love you.
You too. Love to
Talk
see you.
later.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt. You have a good night, and tell everybody in the band that we said hi.
Will do. Thanks, fellas. Take care of yourselves.
All right, bro.
All right,
See
you
ya.
too, man.
All right. See you.
There you go, everybody. There's Matt Noveskey from Blue October, dude. That is so cool, man. That was a good chat. I mean, that was fun. It was a fun chat, you
It
know.
really
I mean, there
was.
was so
I enjoyed listening to it.
we got to. I know you didn't get any questions.
No,
in. I'm
it's
sorry.
okay,
I'm
dude.
sorry,
I
man. I do apologize. I hogged it up.
I'm glad you did, man, because I probably would have been too nervous to even talk anyway.
It would have been like talking to Jack
But what an
Begley.
honor, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was.
Cokester talked to Begley, no problem. Me, I didn't have anything to say to you.